Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Life Beyond Blind Beliefs, and I'm Carrie. In my last video, I stated how you're going to see me stumble and stammer as all this is new to me, getting back into public speaking and different things like that. However, my channel is actually about exploring life beyond blind beliefs more within ourselves, not to try to convince you of anything or to tell you what blind belief you shouldn't or should believe, but that you look at yourself and where you might be stuck in certain areas. So for me, there are a lot of areas I thought I just believed because it was socially acceptable, and in certain areas of my life, it was required that in order to be part of certain organizations and certain structures, you believed a certain way, and that was just how you were supposed to be, think and believe in a certain manner. So I'm challenging you today to step outside of that, as I have. And so I wanted to share with you when I did step into what's called metaphysics. And that is exploring everything beyond the physical realm. And when I stepped into metaphysics, I was very much a diehard Christian, self-righteous, believing I had everything in place, sometimes more advanced in awareness or spiritual aspects than others, which can lead to ego, which can lead to dissension. And so when I stepped into metaphysics, it was because of a lot of trauma that had hit my life. It was the loss of my son. And metaphysics is what has helped me believe, or helped me step into, I shouldn't say believe, helped me to step into thinking for myself. Thinking for myself, questioning things. Not that I never did, I did. And I knew a lot of things. But from experience, I knew a lot of things. That metaphysics was real. But when I stepped into it 15 years ago, it was scary because it was considered woo-woo. It was considered out there. People were crazy if they believed in that. People still think I'm crazy, which is okay. I can be crazy, and I'm going to be that way because I know who I am today more than anything, and metaphysics has helped me. But when I talk about my Christian faith, and then when I stepped into metaphysics, I was in counseling. And my psychiatrist said to me, Carrie, would you be willing to read something outside of the Christian perspective of how you are to be, what you are as a being? And I thought, well, what do I have to lose? And I said, yeah. And she introduced me to metaphysics. And in reading those books, I realized that the Bible, the text I'd been studying all these years, that's what it's about. Also, the Bible is about the metaphysical aspect of who we are as individuals. It's just been taught in a way where it doesn't take us there. And so, as I learned that, then I realized why the book of John is so different than the other three books, because the book of John steps deeper in to the spirit of who we are within us. And then, as I've stated in other videos, after all my life traumas I've walked into, and I'm not a victim, it's karma I had to face. If we didn't have these sufferings, we wouldn't know how to move forward in life. We wouldn't learn lessons. And I have learned that through all my trials and all my tribulations, I am walking through karma. I am learning lessons. We are here to suffer. We are here in and through that suffering to grow into more of a who we are as spiritual beings. John talks about that. But it has brought me, metaphysics has brought me more back into my faith in Jesus as advanced guru avatar, which is an awakened being. An avatar is not what you see in the movies today. An avatar is an awakened being that has come fully into their knowingness of who they are. And so Jesus, you would have thought, and I think this often, you would have thought that when Christianity, and I'm not dogging anything, it's just my belief system, and as I've questioned things, you would have thought that when Christianity began, instead of focusing Jesus on the cross, the death, that they would have focused on his resurrection much more. His resurrection is where he revealed to us our light body. Our light body. When Mary and Magdalene and they came to the tomb and Jesus walked beside him, he was in his light body. He was not in the form of matter. And I am just I'm blown away in a lot of aspects about sharing this, because it's taken me back to not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because the Bible is filled with metaphysical undertones and everything. And a lot of them have been removed as it's been rewritten and rewritten and rewritten. The Bhagavad Gita is also another dynamic book on the metaphysics of life. And right now, I know a while back I shared about how we were going to go through a cosmic storm, and we have. And it wasn't going to be an actual cosmic storm, and I wasn't here as doom and gloom or anything. And I know people can think that metaphysics can you're out there. When I stepped into it 15 years ago, I went into Reiki. I went into a lot of different things, my singing bowls. And when I was doing all of that, it just wasn't very accepted here in North Dakota, because it is so different. What we've been taught to believe, what we've been, conditioned. We've been conditioned and programmed in so many ways to look outside ourselves for the source of who we are instead of inside ourselves for what we truly are. And at a very young age, I knew metaphysics was real because I had experienced it. I had an enlightening experience. I've had out-of-body experiences. Not that that makes anybody more spiritual or not. It doesn't. We are all at our own place in our space and time. But as I grew to understand metaphysics more, and I see the Bible, and I read the Bhagavad Gita, and I see how they're all intertwined, and then this cosmic storm that hit is all what that is it's the planetary structures. It's the astrology of where we are moving in an astrological form. We have been in the age of matter for thousands of years. But we are now stepping into the age of energy. And I understand that a lot of people do. They're just afraid to say they do. But we're stepping into an age of energy, where that energy is who we truly are. That's our light body. And I know, like I've talked about before, many people see that the change in the atmosphere, especially the sun, is dynamically different than it has been. That's part of what's changing us. And that's part of what is evolving us more into our light body. So, I know I'm speaking fast, but it's 1 minute. But I just have so much to share, and I'm so excited about so much in where life is taking us, because we are moving into this age of energy. And when I talked about the cosmic storm, it wasn't going to be anything that was going to explode, or I was just trying to give some input. But it did, and it is, and we're seeing it on the political aspect of life and the Epstein files, all this stuff where systems and organizations and institutions are falling apart. We can no longer run the world in a form we have been doing. It has to change. And with that happening, we are going to see a lot of disruptions in the world, because astrology, as in the Bible, when God created the heavens and the earth, the very first things, think about it. The heavens and the earth were created far before man. That is our sign. Those are our signs. The astrological structures guide us and lead us and show us what is going to happen, how things are going to evolve. It's a cyclical cycle. It is not linear. We do not live in a linear structure. It is cyclical. And so we're going to go through creation, destruction, and restructuring and all that stuff over and over and over and over again. And we're going to go through the age of matter. We're going to go through the age of energy, spirit, which is what Aquarius is right now. Aquarius is the age of spiritual and of stepping into yourself and growing into who you are, as Jesus did. And so many other great masters, Paramahansa Yogananda, hour before he died, he had this big smile on his face, and so many others that have already came and shared with us that the age of spirituality, what it was going to be, how it was going to be. But we put it in a form of matter, but we had to. So religions and everything are structured around philosophy, dogma, all this stuff that causes it to stay fossilized. And you can't grow, the spirit can't grow and evolve within us to a state of knowingness of who we are if we're stuck in religious dogma, theologies, because Jesus did not come to bring a religion to the world. Jesus came to bring a light to the world. And so did all the other great masters. All the other great masters also. Buddha, you look at Paramahansa Yogananda also. They all came to shine a light on who we truly are. And so that's where we're stepping into. And there is so much more I could say, but I wanted to say and get on and share with you that the metaphysical realm is nothing to fear. In fact, if anything, you're going to want to embrace it. And if you're like me and a lot of others, you're feeling the vibrations within your body, those electrical vibrations, because as science has finally realized, and Greg Braden has shared, and Dr. David Clements has shared, and Dr. Bush has shared, that we are energy. Everything is energy. Everybody is energy. The computer I'm talking on, the chair I'm sitting in, this cup, everything is energy. Nothing is exempt from it. And guess what? Energy cannot be born and does not die. It always is. So we are always living in a state of eternity right now, right here, right now. So when the Bible says heaven is already here, it's on earth, it's at hand, heaven, it's right inside us, that's what it is. The cosmic structure, the source of everything is energy, the source of who we are. And this is another thing. What Jesus came to bring to the world, which was the actual Son of God, was Christ consciousness. It says that in the Jerusalem Bible, in the footnotes. The scholars back in those days, back in the 1900s, 1800s, wrote in the footnotes that Jesus mustered up as much as he could to share with those that were hearing his message, that he was not the Son of God, but Christ, his consciousness, the Christ consciousness he brought into the world was. So when he was being tempted by Satan in the desert and the loaves of bread, and Satan kept saying, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself from this mountain. If you are, turn this bread, turn this rock into bread. That is where Jesus didn't say, no, I'm not the Son of God, but he would say, man does not live off bread alone. And Jesus' responses never claimed his body to be the Son of God, but the consciousness within him to be the Son of God. That's why he was here to do what he did. It's just absolutely beautiful. As I stepped into medics, the more I stepped into metaphysics, the more I realized how much of the Bible is true when you get outside of the theology and the dogma that religions try to structure us on. Religions are changing, vastly changing, because it can no longer stand in this light. The light of what we truly are, go beyond all of this. And we have to be willing to step into that. So also, when Jesus was teaching with the masses, I want to really pinpoint this too. Jesus had two teachings, and one was for the masses, and one was for his disciples. And I know I've shared this before, but if you go on your phone or whatever, and I'll try to put these in the descriptions when down below these teachings when I post this. But his teaching, the masses, he said, because there are some who don't want to go any further. They want to be led. They can't get there. And they will eventually, but right now, Jesus had to provide for them what they could understand. And then the disciples said, well, then why do you teach us greater things? And Jesus said, because you know you are willing to step outside. You know there's so much more. I've always known there's so much more. And that's what put me on this journey to keep looking, to keep striving, to keep going forward. And I find so much beauty in life now that I have not had for many years. And I believe I shared that in my last video too. 15 years it's taken me to get back to this point of sharing. I want to get back out and start doing my public speaking again. I want to get back out and start sharing my singing bowls. And I don't know if I'll ever get back to what's behind me on this side. I don't know if I'll ever get back there. That's been a battle for me. Why? I've got blockages there. I'm not sure why. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to step into that maybe again at some point. But may you be blessed in your day. May you realize that you are so much more. And if you're feeling vibrations in your body, that's normal. Look at the sun. And that's another thing. People always say, look at that sun, look at that sun. Look at the sun. The Son of God is Christ consciousness. Look within and explore this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful aspect of who you truly are. You are not your mind. You are not your body. You are not your emotions. And so I'm gonna leave you with this. When I say you are not your emotions, we all struggle with forms of depression. Mental illness is what they call it. And then I'm not belittling it, but I use that term because that's what most people understand. Oh yeah, she's mentally ill, all right, a little crazy on the, a little touched in the head. And I'm not making fun, but when I started Metaphysics, that's what a lot of people kind of turn to, and it's woo-woo, but that's okay. People are afraid of what they don't understand or what they don't really know. And I want to share that with you. But step into your beingness, because that's where we're headed. And if you're stuck in your mind, if you're stuck in your body, which our body is not bad, and you're stuck in your emotions, we're here to actually feel our emotions. Don't fight against them. Feel them. So the work can be done in you, so the healing can be done in you as you're moving through life. We are here to do the work. We are our purpose. We all sit so much of the times wondering, what's my purpose in life? What's my purpose in life? I don't know what my purpose... You are. You are the most beautiful gift you have. I am. You are. Everybody is. When you can step into who you are, what you are, and love your shadow side, your dark side, your quirky side, your touched in the head side. All those parts of who you are beautiful. You are beautiful. My friend, if this is your first time joining, thank you for being part. I invite you back next time. It's okay. We're all going to be okay. But step within Step within who you are. Quit looking at life and people outside you and organizations outside you to accept you, to bring you into a state of, I'm okay, because you are. You already are. You just have to love who you are. All right. God's blessing. Om. Peace. Amen. May you be blessed. Have a great day. Bye.